We continue now at the top of Daf Kuf Samechayim and Beis Meseches Bava Basra. This is Bava Basra Daf 165b. The Gemara asked, according to Ameimar, what is the chiddush of the Mishnah? What is the Mishnah teaching when it says that by a regular shtar, if you have one witness, it's no good? Of course it's no good with only one witness. The Gemara had said on the previous Amud that maybe the Mishnah is teaching us that even if you have one witness signed on the document and you have one witness that's testifying orally, that even that is no good. But Ameimar actually holds that that is good. So therefore, Mas Nisan, our Mishnah is difficult according to Ameimar. What is the chiddush? Of course a document is no good if it only has one witness signed on it. And the Gemara continues and answers, Hakamash Malon, the Mishnah is teaching us, Shnayim b'mekusher ke'ed echad b'pashat, that when you have two witnesses signed on a document that's mekusher, that's the same as when you have one witness signed on an ordinary document. That's the point of the Mishnah. Mahasam psula doraisa, just like if you just have one witness on a regular document, that is a disqualification on a doraisa level. Af hachanami, so too over here, if you have a mekusher with only two witnesses, psula doraisa, that's considered to be a disqualification on a doraisa level. And the Tosas over here explain, Hachanami psula doraisa, here also it's doraisa, lav doraisa mamish. Now it doesn't mean that it's really a psul on a doraisa level actually. To get mekusher midrabanan have it, because the entire institution of a get mekusher is dirabanan, kidamar le'el, like we said earlier, elamasha havlad mamzer midrabanan. What we mean to say is that if you use such a get, let's say it's a mekusher with two witnesses, we're going to say that the child of such a relationship based on that get is going to be a mamzer on a dirabanan level, to have a mamzer b'pasal pashat, just like a situation, the same way we say mamzer in a situation of a disqualification by an ordinary document, that's karile doraisa, that's referred to as doraisa, v'lav dafka, but it doesn't really mean it's doraisa, it just means to say that we're going to issue the same ruling in terms of using such a get. If someone would use such a get and then remarry, that child would be considered a mamzer, just like if you had a get that was disqualified on a doraisa level. And the Gemara continues, Teda, you should know that this is true. The Gemara here is proving that Ameimar is correct from the following. Teshalchu mitam chavrai Rabbi Yirmiyah, because they sent from there, the colleagues of Rabbi Yirmiyah sent to Rabbi Yirmiyah the following. Eid echad b'chsavi, eid echad al peh ma'ushe. It's for exactly this question. If you have one witness that's written down on the document, that's signed on the document, and you have one witness that's testifying orally, can they combine? And that's considered to be two witnesses, a good testimony. And the Gemara continues and explains what the question was. Aliba the Tanakama, to Rabbi Yoshua ben Karcha lo tiboilach. Now we're not asking the question according to the Tanakama of the machlokas between the Tanakama and Rabbi Yoshua ben Karcha. The afilu shnayim b'chsavu shnayim al peh lo mitzdarfi. The Tanakama happens to hold that even if you have two witnesses that are written down and two witnesses that are testifying orally, they cannot combine. So certainly by one witness there is no combining. Elakiti boilach, rather should only be a question for you. Al libud Rabbi Yoshua ben Karcha, according to Rabbi Yoshua ben Karcha, shnayim b'chsavu shnayim al peh hu mitzdarfi. Maybe if you have two witnesses b'chsav and two witnesses al peh, there we say that they combine. But maybe if it was just one witness b'chsav and one witness al peh, maybe then we would not combine them. Odil moloshna, or maybe we don't make such a distinction. And the Gemara continues, Shalach lahu, so he sent back to them. This is Rabbi Yirmiyah sending back the following answer: Ani eini chedai sheshalachtam li, I'm not worthy that you should send me such a question. Elakach das talmidchem nota, but rather the understanding of your students, it leans in the following direction, sheyitzdarfu, that in fact they do combine, you are able to combine one witness b'chsav and one witness al peh, and so therefore that is a proof to what Ameimar is saying, again, that it is kosher in this situation. And the Rashbam explains, Teda, you should know, the shalchu lei, that they sent to him. The Rashbam here seems to have a slightly different girsa than we have. In our Gemara, it's shalchu mitam, they sent from there. That usually means they sent a message from Eretz Yisrael. Here just seems to be, according to the Rashbam, they sent the following. V'shalachlu, they sent, mitzdarfin, again, he sent back to them that yes, you can combine the testimony in this case of one aid b'chsav and one aid al peh. Teshalchu lechachamim l'Rabbi Yirmiyah. Now the situation over here is as follows. The Chachamim sent to Rabbi Yirmiyah this question, Basra Daf mi bei midrasha, after they exiled him from the base medrash. Kedamar beperek lo yachbar, like we say in perek lo yachbar, that's earlier in the Masechet. Afkul Rabbi Yirmiyah mi bei midrasha ve'al do ailuhu kedamrina b'maskana, that they told Rabbi Yirmiyah he has to leave the base medrash, and because of this incident, we're going to have a few versions repercussions of this incident coming up. That's why they brought him back to the Beis Medrash. Again, the question was, Maushi, Itztarfu, Denema Command Chasimi Tarvaya B'Shtar Adami. Can we combine the Edom and say it's as if they both signed on the document? And then they clarified the question. Aliba the Tanakama Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha, Plug Sayu b'Sanhedrin b'Perek Zebora. This Machlokas Tanakama Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha is in Sanhedrin and Perek Zebora. Detanya Eine Dusan Mitztarefes Bebezin at Sheyiru Shneim Ke'echad. It says over there that you can't combine testimony unless they both see it at the same time. But Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha, Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha says, Afilo Bazeh Achar Zeh, even if it's one after the other, Eine Dusan Miskayemes at Sheyidu Shneim Ke'echad. The testimony won't be accepted unless they testify together. But as long as they testify together, we do accept the testimony. Rabbi Nassan says, Shomen Dvarav Shel Zeh Hayom, Uchshayavu Chaveru L'machar Shomen Dvarav. Rabbi Nassan says, we can even hear the testimony from this one today, and then when the other one comes tomorrow, we can hear his testimony. V'hani Shnei Machlukos Shel Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha v'Rabbanan ud Rabbi Nassan v'Rabbanan Hasam Mefarish Taima. This whole Machlukas over here between both Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha and the Rabbanan, and Rabbi Nassan and the Rabbanan, that's all explained over there. Ibo Yisei Makrav, Ibo Yisei Masvar. They have one understanding that it's from the Psukim, that they argue how to interpret Psukim, another one that they're arguing about logic, but in any case, there is such a machlokis over there, and so now we say, Hashta Hashnayim HaChasumim B'Shtar, V'rotzen Anu L'Kayim Edusan B'Shtar Shein Chasumin Bo. Now, in a situation where you have two people signed on a shtar, let's say we want to accept that testimony, or Shnayim Ba'al Peh, or let's say you have two that are testifying orally, L'Inyan Ligvos Mamon Be'edusan, in terms of collecting money from their testimony, below shtar, let's say without a document, Ein mitzdarfen. So what do we say? We say, according to the Tanakama, you're not able to combine those witnesses in lo sharosh neim kechad if they didn't see it together, as they do, and if they didn't see what it was that they're testifying about together. Even though they're both testifying that the person owes a mana, but if they didn't see it at the same time, let's say this one saw on Sunday that he owes a mana, the other one saw on Monday that the person owes a mana, but still we say that they're not able to combine. So therefore, certainly over here, by the one witness and the one witness, they cannot combine. But alibud Rabbi Yeshua, but according to Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha, Shnayim b'chsav u'Shnayim ba'al peh mitzdarfen. Let's say you have two witnesses b'chsav, or you have two witnesses orally, they do combine. Afilu im bazeh achar zeh ro'ei dusan, even if they didn't see the same thing at the same time. Avol im eid echad b'chsav. But then the question is again, according to Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha, what if it would just be one witness and one witness? And the Gemara went on to say that Rabbi Yirmiyah answered the question by saying, even if it's one eid b'chsav and one eid al peh, they are able to combine. And the Gemara continues, Amar Lei, Rav Ashi now says back to Ameimar. Again, Ameimar is bringing a proof from Rabbi Yirmiyah's response that he is correct, that you can combine Eid Echad B'chsav and Eid Echad Al Peh. And now Rav Ashi is saying back to Ameimar that's not a proof, because we don't have the story of Rabbi Yirmiyah in that fashion. Anon Hachimasnin Allah, we have the story as follows, Tesholchu Lei Chavrayel Rabbi Yirmiyah, that the colleagues of Rabbi Yirmiyah, they sent Rabbi Yirmiyah the following, Shnayim Sheyidu, let's say you have two people testifying, Echad Bebezdin Zeh, V'Echad Bebezdin Zeh. The question actually was as follows, one testifies in this court, one testifies in another court. The question was, can the two courts join together? That actually was the question that was sent to Rabbi Yirmiyah. And in this version, the Gemara says, according to the Tanakam and the Machlokas with Rabbi Nassan, again, as we said in the Rashbam, this was really a Machlokas between the Tanakama and between Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha and between Rabbi Nassan. So now the Gemara in this version is saying, according to the Tanakama of Rabbi Nassan, it's not a question. Because even if all of this happened in one court, you can't join them together if they don't testify at the same time. But when is it a question? Rabbi Nassan, it's a question according to Rabbi Nassan. Maybe maybe in one bezin they testify at different times. You can join that testimony together. But if it was two courts, you can't combine. Maybe lo shna, maybe there's no difference. And again, in this version of the story, Rabbi Yirmiyah sends back to them the following: I'm not worthy that you should ask me such a question. But the understanding of your students, it leans in the following direction, that we are able to combine in this situation. And the Gemara continues with another version. Mar Bar Chia says as follows, they sent him the following question. The case is, let's say, two testify in one court, and then they go ahead and they testify in another court. So can we have one come from every court when they can combine? That actually was the question. And in this version, the Gemara explains, according to Rabbi Nosson, it's not a question. Hashda Eidim Mitzarfin, and if we're able to combine witnesses, so Dayoni Miboy, is it even a question by judges? Certainly judges can be combined. Alakiti Boy Lachaliba the Tanakam, it's a question according to the Tanakam of Rabbi Nosson, the Tanakam of Rabbi Nosson, maybe Eidim Hu Delo Mitzarfin, and maybe we don't combine witnesses, Avol Dayoni Mitzarfin, but we would combine judges, Odil Maloshnar, maybe we don't make a distinction. And in this version, Shalach Lu, he sent back to them, Ani Eini I'm not worthy that you should send me such a question. But the understanding of your students leans as follows. Again, that they should be able to combine in this case. And finally, one last version of the incident. Ravina says, they sent him the following message. The cases 3 are sitting as a court in order to certify a document. And then one of the 3 judges dies. So then they're going to sign this authorization, this certification of the document. There's only going to be 2 signatures. So do they need to write that there were 3 judges here, but one of them is not here anymore? They should note that. Or maybe they don't have to write that. Shalach Luhan, in this version, he sent back to them, I'm not worthy that you should send me this question. But the understanding of your students leans as follows. That you should write, you do need to write that this happened in front of 3 judges. And one is not here. And because of this incident, because he answered in this humble fashion, they brought Rabbi Yirmiyah back to the base medrash. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Kasav Bo Zuzin Ma'ah Di'inun Sloin Estrin. Let's say a document that says that the loan was 100 zuz, which is 20 sela. Now that's not actually accurate because 20 sela is actually 80 zuz. So the question is, how much is the Malva able to collect using this document? And the Mishnah says, Ein lo ella Estrin. So he only gets the 20, meaning to say he only gets the 80 zuz, he gets the lower amount. And similarly, the Mishnah continues, Zuzin Ma'ah Di'inun Talosin Silin. Let's say it says 100 zuz, which is 30 sela. 30 sela is actually 120 zuz. So Ein lo ela mana, he only gets the mana, he only gets the 100 zuz, the lower amount. And the Mishnah continues, Kesef Zuzin Di'inun. Let's say it says, Kesef Zuzin, silver Zuzin, which are, V'nimchak, but then the rest is erased. We don't know exactly how much. Ein Pachos Mishtayim. So then we say, it's not less than 2, meaning to say you have to assume that at least 2 silver Zuz is the loan. That's the amount that he can collect. And similarly, Kesef Silin Di'inun V'nimchak. Let's say it says that it's Sloim of silver, and that are, and then the rest is erased. So how much exactly Sloim was it? Ein Pachos Mishtayim. Again, not less than 2. If it's in plural, that's the amount you assume, because that's the minimum. Darchonos di'inun v'nimchuk. Let's say it says darchonos that are, and then again it's erased. We don't know how many darchonos. Ein pachos mishtayim. Again, we say it's not less than 2. Kasabo milmale mona. Let's say at the top of the document it says it was 100 zuz. Umilmata masayim, but then lower in the document it says 200 zuz. Or let's say milmala masayim. Let's say up in the top of the document it says 200 zuz. Umilmata mona, and then below, lower in the document it says 100 zuz. How do we determine how much was actually the loan? So in this case, hakol holech achar atachton, we always follow what's written at the bottom. The idea basically is that anything that's written at the bottom, we assume what was at the top was actually retracted. Imkain, so the Mishnah says, if so, lama kos v'nesa elyon. So why do we write it up above if we're following the bottom always? And to that the Mishnah says, Shem timochik osachas min atachton. This way, if something is erased, if a letter is erased from the bottom, yilmid min elyon, then you can learn it from the top. But again, if you have both written out, you follow what's on the bottom. And the Gemara says, Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, Amar kesef, if the shtar states kesef, it says silver, ein pachos midinar kesef, we assume it's not less than 1 dinar of silver. Kesef dinarin v'dinarin kesef, let's say it says either kesef dinarin, or it says dinar and kesef. Ein pachos mishnei dinar and kesef, we assume it's no less than 2 dinar of kesef. Kesef bidinar, and let's say the way it's phrased is silver with dinarim, so then ein pachos mi b'shnei dinarin dahav, then we assume it's not less than 2 dinar of gold, kesef, and that should be in silver, meaning in silver coins, the value of 2 dinar of gold. And the Gemara continues, Amar Mar, the master said, kesef, if it says kesef, ein pachos mi dinar kesef, that means no less than a dinar of kesef. V'yemon naschu, the Gemara says, why don't we say that it's just a bar of silver? Who says it's a coin at all? Amar Rabbi Elazar says, D'chasa bei matbeya, it does say the word matbeya, it says coin, so we know we're referring to a coin, we assume it's a dinar. The Gemara says, V'yema prita, but why not say that it's a pruta, that's a smaller kind of a coin? Who says it's a dinar of kesef? Maybe it's a pruta of kesef. Amar Papa says, Bi'asra Basra de Losagi Prite de Chaspa. We're talking about a place where they don't have prutas in silver, and so therefore you assume that it's a dinar of kesef. And the Gemara continues, Tanar Rabban, and the rabbis taught, dahav, let's say it says in the shtar, dahav, gold, ein pachos mi dinar dahav. It's not less than a dinar of gold. Dahav dinarin v'dinarin dahav. If it says dahav dinarin, or it says dinarin dahav, using the plural, ein pachos mi shnei dinarin dahav, that's not less than 2 dinar of gold. And dahav bidinarim, if it says gold with dinarim, ein pachos mi b'shnei dinarin kesef dahav. So then it's not less than 2 silver dinarim worth of gold. You're using the gold, and the gold should accumulate to the value of 2 dinarim of silver. And the Gemara continues, Amar Mar, the master said, dahav, if it says gold, ein pachos mi dinar dahav, it's not less than a dinar of gold. Ein manascha, why don't we say that it's a bar of gold? Amar Rabbi Elazar says, like we said before, the kas of matbeya, that it's written in there matbeya, it says the word coin, so we know it is a coin, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Kuf Samech Vav Amud Aleph.